Everyone, welcome to my channel again. Today I'm going to present you the project that I have successfully run in my local environment to build the AI agents and let them talk with each other. First of all, the tools I'm going to use, first of all, is LM Studio. Uh, so with LM Studio, you can download the model that you want to test and also to load it and to start the server. So to let the VS Code module to actually access to the local server and interact with the large language model that you prefer. Then, of course, we need the Visual Studio software installed so that you can run the Python code very easily. And the last and most important thing is that the Autogen. Autogen is a package, and also the I think a package is a right name because I'm going to import in the Python environment. This Autogen is I think developed by Microsoft and is very useful for me to actually build this conversation program between different agents. So you need to pay attention to two parts. The first part is LM Studio page. It will tell you how Autogen can interact with LM Studio. It is very in detail. You can test all the code, of course. The second part is about the group chat. Group chat is actually more advanced. So if you check this page of the LM Studio, it gives the example of two agents chats. So it's just two agents talking back and forth. But if you are talking about the group chat, actually the group chat will invite multiple agents to interact with each other. Okay, so I invite you to check these documents. It will be very useful for you to test the code. So let's come to the code part. From the basic, I just mimic what the document says. So first of all, I set up two models. Okay, so if you set, for example, this Gemma refers to this Gemma model, and also the URL key is the local LM Studio. You can find it, and also the API key is LM Studio. Okay, so basically setting up the different model will be useful when the agents will link to these models. And you can see here the second part is to from the Autogen import conversible agents. This part is actually defining the different agents and which model it will use. So for me, I always use only one model. But if you want one agent to use one model, the other use another one, it is I think is possible. But you need more configurations of LM Studio and so on. Okay, so basically at this moment, in my LM Studio, I chose the Mistral model, but here I leave it like this. It can run because I think LM Studio will recognize this kind of link directly without actually checking which model you are referring to, because actually the server is working with one model. So when you link to the server, it will work. Okay, so this is the code that you need to run the conversation. It will produce a chat result. Okay, so who will start the conversation? Jack will start the conversation, and it will talk with Emma. And the starting message is Emma, tell me a joke. Max terms will define maximum of the conversation passage. Is like if the maximum is 2, actually you have a you see here you have a 1, 2, 3, 4. I think terms, one term, two terms. One term is one back and forth. Two terms is in total two back and forth. Yeah. So you can see here the result is very good. Emma, tell me a joke, and Emma starts to tell a joke. Okay, then Jack says, that was a great joke. I'm glad it brought a smile to your face as well. Then Emma, I absolutely agree. So they're actually doing this conversation, right? You can check and test by yourself. I think the more you test, you can find the different results. Okay, so at this point, we have mimicked the official example and test it with LM Studio. This is okay. So I want to go to another example, which I tested. To actually, I think if we want to apply this package of Autogen to other use case, we need to have it in mind. For example, for me, I would really like different agents to build a financial analysis team to actually tell me if the stock is underpriced or overpriced, and if I should buy it or not. I think there are many examples on YouTube. You can also check, but here, okay, I just test what's my initial construction of this team and to let them talk as a group. So this code, at the first part, I also define the different model, but now I'm more specific. I want to define the Mistral model that I'm using. So just to make sure that I understand the whole picture. The other two, I leave it here, but it does not make any impact. If you want, you can delete it. Okay, so about the agents, first of all, I created more agents. I create a team head of the team. The team head will do a lot of job. I just describe them all here. I think my code is correct, but if I'm wrong, feel free to mention it. Um, and here I actually describe the job it will do. It will be the leader of the team of stock analysts. You instruct the general analytical framework and ask analysts to process data and give investment strategy and suggestions. In the end, you combine opinions from both data analysts and the news analyst. Okay, in this part, I think the better you define the agent's role, the better it will run and get results in the later stage. So I also have the analyst on data, analyst on news. So basically, one will check the data of the stock, financial data. I did not specify, but if it is recommended that you specify in a more detailed way. I also ask it to actually analyze trend, plot a line graph, and so on. Then about the analysis on news, I ask it to check the news and also give some summary and also provided the recommendation. So in the end, I want the team head to summarize. So go to the next part. The chat will initiate from the team head to the analyst on data, team head to analyst on news. Okay, so let's check the results. Maximum turn is 2, so I expect that it will be 2 back and forth. So yeah, the message is analyze Apple stock. Okay, so basically the team head actually first talk to the analyst on data, give some feedback. I think this was the results we get from the model itself because it was trained on massive data sets. So actually, the model actually figure out this by itself. I think it have to be not 100% accurate. So, but you can see here it structured this information I think very well. You can see historical stock price, earning per share, and eventually it gave the conclusion that a solid long-term investment opportunity. Okay, it looks very good. And you can also try in your local environment to check the whole response. Okay. Also, the if you check the LM Studio because you are running a server, you can see the conversation and all the log. It is very satisfactory because previously I tried. If I remember correctly, is the UI version of the Autogen. Actually, the configuration of the different agents and so on. Of course, you can do it in the browser, in the web browser, but it's I always meet some problem. For example, if the prompt is just one word, and the feedback is just 2 words, it's not working. But in VS Code with Python, Jupyter Notebook, it works well. Okay, so let's see. First of all, here, the first response from analyst to team head. Okay, then team head says, actually the team head is working like furthermore. He actually tells the analyst on data to pay more attention on the market developments and so on. So it's not like, okay, I get your advice and I summarize your advice and that's it. Okay, it actually want to dig more, to explore more with analyst. So yes, analyst also give additional comments about add additional information about the stock price, investment potential. So actually, it stops here. Okay, so when I reach this point, I realize that actually there is not another feedback. So the conversation is complete. But if I want to get the conclusion from the team head, it does not give. So I need to configure either the conversation terms or I change the description of the team head and make sure it works better. Okay, so the is still prompt engineering as a basis. So the better you engineer the prompt, the better you get the results. So the system stop here and goes to the next conversation. Is the team head to the analyst on news. Okay, so at this point I realize it's a separate chat. Okay, so it asks the analyst on news to check. Okay, and it says I'm an AI language model, don't have real-time access, of course. So it actually it gave some general analysis based on the information it has. For example, like this information is dated in 2022. So from the pure conversational point of view, I think it's working. Yeah. Then the team head tells to the analysis to news, in addition to the analysis above, it is crucial to consider both quantitative and qualitative factors. Uh, in my opinion, this is not very necessary because I would expect the team head to combine these two parts. Because the analyst on news is going to focus on the qualitative part, and the analyst on data is going to focus on the quantitative part. So that was my original design. But okay, so it asks this. I think in the future I need to better refine my prompt and the description of the role. Uh, okay, so analyst on news says, okay, it actually does the work it asks to. Not only analyzing the news, but also to give some comments about the data and also examine the KPI and so on. Uh, and also it did the competitive landscape, management efficiency, and industrial trend comments. Okay, so actually, the analyst on the news is doing the job for the team head. You can see here the team head should do the final comment by combining both the analysis. You can develop a well strategy. Okay. Uh, okay. But eventually, you see, this one, the model becomes very prudent because it suggests that you should consult another financial advisor. So, technically speaking, it is not doing its job. Okay, but you can see this flow of conversation is going, so you realize there should be some more adjustments, either with the prompt, with the max terms, job description here. System message, I call it as job description. Okay, so then I further refined the code. I tried the user proxy agent because I consider user proxy agent is that the user inputs will actually influence the conversation. So I set up this user proxy parameter according to the documentation of the Autogen. So you can see here, there are some informations here like a name and so on. So then now I start a group chat. So the group chat is going to actually involve multiple agents here. For example, I have three agents: team head, analyst on data, analyst on news. And also I have max in round six. Because I think there are too many agents, so maybe I need a longer conversation to get a meaningful result. In the meantime, I'm trying to input my prompt. Okay, so it's not like previous version. Actually, I write the prompt in the code. Now I want the user input, so I input the prompt. Okay, the conversation starts. You see the user proxy is the user, me, will start the conversation. And conversation to the manager, and so the manager will go to the group chat in this sequence. Okay, let's see. Okay, the system take my input as the user proxy to chat manager conversation, and then analysis on data. Okay, says okay, I'm doing the blah 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 analysis. Okay, and yeah, it talks to the chat manager in summary. Okay, Amazon stock, blah blah blah. Okay, it does not give a very precise conclusion because it says you need to do further analysis. So it's not working very well. And then it says that it is important to keep in mind the past performance is not a passion. I think this is like a disclaimer from the banks, investment banks. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Yeah. So then the group chat select the speaker field to resolve the next speaker's name. I think there are some issues with the naming of the agents. So if you see this kind of message, I suggest you to actually check. Uh, Actually, the next part, the conversation goes to analysis of the news. Analyst of the news. It says, yes, you're probably right. It's important to remember historical data. Okay, so it actually takes the as message of the disclaimer, so it does not do much job. Okay, and then it says absolutely providing clear. Okay, it's like not so useful, right? It's a writing disclaimer. So at this point, you can see the group chat actually goes, but I suppose there should be more definitions, like either in my prompt or in the structure of the team and of the job description, right? To configure better these agents. Uh, but as a start, I think I would say this is okay. Okay, this model works, and I need to further refine to actually do the jobs that I intended to have them done for me. Uh, yeah. So this example stops here. Okay. So just a quick wrap up. You can do two agents back and forth conversation, or you can have a group conversation. Okay. So the next example. For the models, the definition are the same. I did not change. Uh, Actually, you can see, like the previous example, I ask the analyst on data to plot, to analyze the trend. Of course, it cannot. Okay, so I need to further work on it to see if I use some resource code to let the agent to act on to draw the graph based on the data, or I should just should test the different alternatives. But at this moment, I keep on going. So the job description actually, I did some improvements, some adjustments, and I'm inviting a coder and a tester. So, in my opinion, if you are going to invite a coder and tester to a conversation and you want them to write the code and test code, of course, there are many use cases that you can check on YouTube. But at this moment, if you only define it here, it will not work. I'm going to show you. So this part is the same. We are going to have a user proxy. Yeah. So just a reminder, whenever you see there are some comments here, you can stop the video and check. Some of the comments I leave the error message just for future check. For example, the original proxy code actually it asks for the Docker environment. I have never used it, so I want to skip it. Okay, so I need to set here user docker force. If you want to refine this code, I think first of all you need to understand the document of Autogen of a specific function, and if you have some difficulty to modify the code, you can ask ChatGPT to help you. But remember, ChatGPT has limited capability. So the next part is still the group chat, but here now we have the coder and the tester. Okay, next round 6. I manually insert my prompt. Okay, and here I think you need to pay attention because the system will recognize the whole part. The message should have two components. Okay, a complete one, not only like this, the text information. You can try because you are going to see the error message. So I'm going to start the chat again. Okay, analyze Tesla stock. Okay, the log actually says group chat select speaker failed to resolve the next speaker name. Yeah, so there is some error, but here the team head starts to ask the analyst on data. Can you provide me the Tesla stock price and share the recent news about Tesla? And ask the analyst on news to share the news on Tesla. Both of them are working. Okay, so first of all, it promised that it will actually work and get the information. Yeah, also the news analyst on news. And T has based on information, I would like to remember buying Tesla stock at current due to the strong financial from the earnings reports. Uh, I would say I don't see much data here for the team had to analyze. For here, the news, yeah, the news is positive. Okay, surpassed the expectation earning. Okay, so it makes sense, but the capability of individual agents, like I said before, we need to enhance their capability. So this is a part of the conversation. Actually, the channel manager actually talks to team head talks to analyst. Then we go to the next part. Is the team head to the channel manager. Okay, give actually a response, right? It's very structured. I like it. Introduction. This is which company, fundamental analysis, valuation multiples. I think if you further modify the code, you can get the quasi professional report from this model. Okay, then you can see here they also did the technical analysis and also news analysis. Uh, I mean the accuracy, because it's not a link to the third-party API, not getting the news. I think is not 100% reliable. But the next attempt in the future, I would try to like use a Y Finance or use the Google News Google News package or API to get such information to the model and let it analyze. Okay, so at this moment, we are always utilizing the knowledge base of the local large language model. Okay, so pay really attention to this. If you try to have fun and to test the model, yeah, it's okay. But to really use it, be very, very careful. Then here, uh, okay, you can see this is different from the previous one, previous examples, because we have more agents and actually we have modified some of the this job description of the of each agent. So you can the result has some improvements, I would say. And then we go to the next part. Actually, the team head. Now it's your turn to play a role. Which of the following roles would you like to assume? And what instruction or question would you have for the team members? Yeah, so it will select them and provide the instruction to ask question accordingly. Okay, so yeah, now analyst of data says diversification is an important thing and so on. This is quite a general discussion now. And the coder Set to manager, yes, diversification is okay, but the coder is not doing its job. So there must be some problem with my setting. Okay. In summary, it suggests a diversification. I mean, the primary job of the coder is to code. Okay. So actually, uh, okay, let's see here. The coder starts speaking again. Well said. Okay, I'm not sure which agent actually talks to this agent before because I don't see it here. Anyway, you can do different tests to check the workflow. There is also a very clear documentation of the Autogen. I recommend you to read it, okay, because I'm also still learning. So in the next part, I actually make my prompt very, very complicated because I see the result is not so well. I said analyze the Tesla stock starting from the team head to get a general plan of the task, then analyze on data to discuss with coder and tester to run a functional code to get analyze stock data. Let me see if I have a chunked version. Yeah, it's this one. It's easier to read. Analyze Tesla stock starting from the team head to get a general plan of the task. Then analyst on data discusses with coder and the tester to run a functional code to get analyze stock data and financial data and to give advice to the team head. Then blah blah blah. So now I give a very very clear instruction to the group. Let's see how it goes. So it takes the prompt, okay, and pass it to the chat manager. Okay, and the team head starts to talk back to the chat manager that I'm a team head. So yeah, how these agents will work. Okay, it's very well structured, right? So it first of all says that it will assign the task based on the expertise of the team member, three team member, very well organized. Okay, and it says using tools like Bloomberg, Wi-Finance, Fred. Here I do not provide the Fred API or the Bloomberg API, so this is a very good assumption, but not very realistic for me to implement a free version on the local environment. Then once they complete their analysis, I'll combine the insight and give a report. Yeah, it's very good. So report, the outline of the report, it also describes, is very comprehensive. I like it. But you see here, group chat select speaker failed to resolve the next speaker's name. This is because the speaker selection call returned nothing. Okay. So I think this problem repeats. In the future, I need to check is that did I misspell the name of the agents or there is other problem. So let's keep on going. The next part, actually, I think there is another solution to this kind of missing next speaker. It will pick another speaker based on the chat. There must be some logic behind. If you want, you can further check. So basically, now analysis on data, I think is based on the plan. It starts to check to talk with the manager. Uh, okay, and the team leader, I fully understand the energy tone and follow the objective. So there is a kind of mix up because analyst on data is not a team leader. Okay, he understands the job and starts to work as a team leader. So, but some of the part like this part, yeah, you are actually repeating the previous conversation. Not very useful. Okay, so now the team head to the manager, the team leader, my primary goal is blah blah blah. Define blah blah blah. Ongoing monitoring. Okay, sorry. Yeah, here. It describes its goal and so on, but not very concise, not very useful to actually deeper with the conversation. Then failed to resolve next speaker again. So still, this analyst on data chats with the chat manager. Okay, so it did what was already there, and he is taking responsibility of the team leader. Okay, but from the information of the step, you can see there are also some errors because here you see from point 1 to 5, then from 1 to again. So I think there is some problem with interaction with local LLM because the description of the task is too complicated, so the system cannot handle it. I see this kind of error sometimes before, just during the conversation with Mr. Model. It will start to hallucinate with different code. Does not make any sense. Okay, so you see here, it tries to make up a lot of numbers, but they do not have any meaning. So at that point, the local server continues to run. I manually stopped it. Okay, so you see the error message here. This is part of the server log. You can see I take a screenshot. The server log actually shows infinite numbers. Okay, so that basically says this project has to be stopped. We need to change either the model, either the structure of our agents. Later, I try another way. I do not manually insert the prompt in this window. I actually define the message to feed to the system. Yeah, I think this is another way to feed the message to the system. But somehow it actually only gets okay, it asks my input if I remember correctly, but you can try. This is not a very big issue. You can either write your prompt here or you just manually input here. Okay. So at this stage, it starts the group chat again. Okay. Select speaker field. Okay. So at first it gives some comments. Okay, so but here we have some improvements. I will now step aside and let team head handle the analysis with using historical data. It's not 100% correct because I do not want the team head to do anything with historical data. So you can see there are more complicated configuration with more complex conversation. That will be needed. So to the next part, let's see the team head to chat manager. Okay, to provide the analysis, I will do a combination of functional and technical analysis. Okay, it's good. Both the data analyst and news analyst. Okay, it's going well, and it starts to okay fundamental analysis. Okay, it tells you uh, part of the information, and also some subjective conclusion here. But the problem is that the two analysts have not said anything. Yeah, so this is, I don't know how to define a hallucination or what. Uh, Here, you can see the team head to the chat manager. Okay, disclaimer, blah, blah, blah. This is kind of a standard term again. So, representation, okay. Subject to what? Okay. The group chat select speaker field again. Okay. So if it failed, actually the talking, I think is like the LLM one side output. It does not say who is speaking. So I will leave this kind of issue in the future to resolve. And at this moment, yeah, this is actually the one of the result of the server log. It shows a very messy picture. So just to wrap up, we have some issue remain. For example, this error code and the insufficient assignments of the job to different different agents. And in the end, I think we can improve in the future, like I said, the prompt, the agent's job description. I see it like this, and also the detailed configuration of the usage of Autogen. I think we will find also tons of example on the website. The problem is that most of the example on the Autogen documentation is based on a OpenAI API or other uh, structure, which you have to link to the API of the online LLM model. But if you are going to do with a local LM Studio, you always need to do some tests to change the code to adapt to the local large language model. Yeah, I wish you find this tutorial useful and happy coding. If you have any question, feel free to leave a comment and I'll reply and also to have a discussion with you. So let's advance in the AI agents creation. Have a nice day. Bye bye.